Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hybrid Now. Today we're going to do one of the first things that you should do when you get your windows tinted in any vehicle. Now, I've recently had them done in my new Toyota Prius back here, and for those that don't know, I had 20% put on, just the regular 3M Color Fast, I think they call it, film. Didn't go for the ceramic. I honestly don't think it's necessary. And it's a heck of a lot more expensive, really, for something you don't need, I don't think. So we're gonna hop in the car, we're gonna go for a ride, a little bit of a different perspective today. I'm gonna make use of that glass roof. Okay, first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna take you through the whole process as we go for a little bit of a drive here. We're buckled in, and this is the strangest thing to get used to. When you wanna activate, that's what I'm gonna call it, the car, put your foot on the brake and hit the power button. And over on the screen there, it says ready, which of course means it's ready to go. Since I have the air on and it's 800 degrees here, you might be able to hear the air conditioning running off of the electric motor. And that's what we're doing right now. We're actually just running off of the electric motor, so there's no gas power at the moment. If the battery gets lower or because of the draw or whatever from the air conditioning, well, then you'll hear or see the motor kick in, or the engine, I should say. So, I mentioned before, something you should always do when you get your windows tinted, and that is put them down. Run them all the way down and run them all the way up. I usually do that a couple of times to make sure that everything is good, right? Now, you should wait. In my case, because it's so hot and humid down here, or hot and warm, I should say, they told me to wait for 48 hours. I've actually waited for 4 days. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to hit the buttons, we're going to put the windows up and down just to make sure that everything is seated properly. That's good on the driver's side. I could do them all at the same time, but you know, no reason to do that. That takes care of the passenger rear. And the driver's side rear. So I've done all that. We're good to go. Now I'm going to hit the garage door closer. This does have HomeLink in it, if you will. So I've got all that programmed. It says HomeLink on the mirror. Not sure if you guys can see that. Now, to take off, gently push the shifter over to the left, and then in my case, up for reverse. And you can see the camera back there. This has the bigger screen with the 360 degree view. Wonder if I can change the color of the car. We'll have to take a look at that. And also the main camera seeing out of the back of the car. Love the clarity of it. I think it's just fine. No issues with anything like that for me. Sometimes I hear people complain with these rear view cameras about the clarity. I think this particular one is good. Now, you may have seen, to drive, you want to go ahead and gently push back over again to the left and pull down to go into drive. We're still running in EV mode, by the way, all electric, no gas power yet. So we're going to take off. It's nice and smooth, and I've got to say, you would never even know that you're running, I guess, if you weren't moving, because except for the air conditioning. Again, I can hear the air blowing. You guys might be able to hear that as well, I'm not sure. But nice and quiet and smooth. We've actually switched to gas now. I got into the gas pedal a little bit. So we're actually running on gas. So not a big deal. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do, right? That's the hybrid. And I do think the hybrid is the way to go right now. The fully electric vehicles out there, like the Teslas and others, you're at the mercy of charging stations and time. You know, I'm impatient. I don't like to sit around and wait for anything, really. So I'm not real hip on waiting for my car to charge. This is the perfect mix for me. It gives me the ability to not have to wait, in that I can actually just drive if the EV or the electric part of the system quits. So no issues with that for me. I actually prefer it this way. Maybe someday down the road when we get batteries that'll run, you know, 1,000 miles or something or more, that would be nice. Or charging stations that can charge you up within 5 minutes, maybe less. I could stand 5 minutes probably, but that's really about it for me. Now, driving the car itself, everything else is basically the same as your traditional car, I guess. We do have regenerative, it's difficult to say, regenerative recharging, or charging, I should say, of the battery. That you notice when you're slowing down with your foot off the accelerator. Sometimes you can actually hear something. I don't know if you could hear that little whir in the background. It's kind of like a servo shutting down or something. Pretty cool. And then when you brake, it also recharges the battery. There's a neat little gauge on the screen there. I've talked about that before. Shows you when it's actually charging the battery. That's pretty cool. But one of the neatest features, and I'm going to show this again on the screen, you just tap the car icon and then energy flow, and you can see how the energy is flowing through the system. I think that is too cool. You can see when it's charging, you can see when it's actually using energy from the battery, and then when the engine itself kicks on. Real quick, just to tell you what these icons mean. Of course, you know what 4 tires are, right? And then we have the drive line. You've got the engine here. The first motor in the front, I have 2 since this is all-wheel drive. The second motor in the back, which you'll see light up when I make a turn, that's when it primarily comes on for me, and then the battery. So pay attention to that. We're turning. You should see, yes, that light up shows that it's running power through that motor in the back. It'll shut down here in a second. There, now it's gone off. It's a pretty cool system. Right now, we're just running in front-wheel drive. With the electric motor running in EV, you can see power coming from the battery to the motor and then to the wheels. Just a pretty cool little graphic, I think, so that you can see what the car is doing. Now, I'm going to let off the gas here, and you should see a blue line or blue arrows start to flow back to the battery right there. That means we're charging. So right now, we're actively charging right back through that motor to the battery. And now we're going the other way since I've hit the gas. And we're no longer in just EV mode either. Let me let off the gas again. Listen for this sound. Do you hear that right there? It does that when the system is charging, when you're just coasting, if you will. Which is pretty cool. You know, some people, that would drive them nuts listening to that sound. To me, it means the system is working and it's doing what it should be doing, which is recharging. I kind of dig that. So now I'm going to take off. I'm just going to go for a little bit of a ride. That's pretty much how the system operates. That's the view, I guess, hanging. You guys are actually hanging from the rear window. I will let you hear a little bit of road noise. This is a pretty rough road, I guess. Pretty coarse road, so I'll be quiet. You can hear it. You can hear a bit of wind noise. Obviously, you can hear the tires on the road. That's normal. There aren't many cars that you can't unless you're into a really high-end luxury that's very well insulated, I guess. I don't find it to be distracting or annoying. A lot of the reviewers out there on YouTube seem to dog that. They don't like that. I don't have any issues with it. I think it's just fine. It is a car. It is going to make some noise. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to know, particularly if you have the new Prius. What do you think of it? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.